Hello. Right. We're back. Gonna do the second case. Start off the second case. Again, as always, we'll have forgotten all of the voices I was doing. We'll have to make up new ones. Right. Select adventure. Actually, if I just hit continue, will it? Oh, it carries on from the escapade. Okay. Okay, episode 2, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Oh, I can just like pick, huh. Because that's the... Is that counting as a chapter select? If I hit new game, does it give me the option of... Nope, it's going to start me all the way from the beginning. Let me access the menu. Alright, I didn't think the escapades would take over the continue save slot, so I'll have to do it this way. I didn't think it would let me access like later portions of a case if I hadn't already played them in order. That's unexpected. Alright, from the beginning.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The Speckled Band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Okay, so we've got Sholmes and Wilson instead of Holmes and Watson. So was that the victim of the first case? Was that supposed to be like Watson then?
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Excuse me, what are you doing with that gun? Oh.
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
It lets you see through solid matter?
Who are you? And what do you think you're doing here?
Da! No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What?
Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. but that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
And who was inside? My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. No, that wasn't us in the fucking thing, was it? Wait, I can't move. Oh my god! Are we gonna be the defendant again? Are you kidding me? 2 cases in a row? What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now, Oh, wait, you had like a Russian voice. Oh god, do I have to do a Russian accent? We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are true-blooded cold. You are a true cold-blooded man. You... Huh. You found me then. Da. We found you. And now you pay. Criminal. How long were you hiding in the tiny wardrobe, Sorry. Now you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything. Is this Sholmes? There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Oh, it's her. Susato, right, yeah, I forgot what her name was. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato? Is it Kazuma? Is the victim Kazuma? You could see the sword on the floor. It is going to be Kazuma. I fucking said it would. He was going to die soon. He was either going to die or become a murderer, I think. I said. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? There, you pretend not to know. You are a wolf in sheep's belt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-san's body was discovered not long ago. Shit. Here, in this very cabin. That was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please. Do not try to tell us you would... do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-san's life? Answer me, please. As if we're doing this again. No! How do we get 2 cases in a row where we're the defendant? That's ridiculous. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? Oh, we're stowing away. It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Wow. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. I guess you're bringing him food as well? Food and water? They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? Yeah, why is she on the ship? I assume we're in the middle of the ocean right now. From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotabe, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that we get it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. In the cupboard you go. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't I write "keep out" or something on a piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. Wait, so is the entire court case going to happen on board the ship? Like, how far away are we from England? We'll leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Duh, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. But then, how would the paper have got on the wardrobe? If he'd tried to hide in there himself, somebody else would have had to put the paper over it. Sasato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try and find out what really happened. Kazuma's death. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt from the door can't be opened from outside. That seems like a massive design flaw. There being no way of opening the door from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Sasato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn any more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. About the incident. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please, whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Sasato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama collapsed on the floor. And the white tape that now shows exactly where I was found, I suppose. Okay, I completely misread that. And the white tape there shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard for me to believe too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Stowaway. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have accompanied Kazuma-sama's... How could you have... Oh my god. How could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No. That would have been impossible. Oh, no. That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma. Why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been in my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that. But I didn't think you were being serious. You have the talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, That's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer then what? Nothing. Forget it. Huh? Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do it with you. Yeah, maybe. But something's still been bothering me a little. Look at his eyes then. It was darker than I'd ever seen him before. Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Wow. Word perfect, in fact. Last night. Was there meant to be some, like, poison in the food that was meant for Kazuma, but Kazuma brought it back for us. And we ate it instead, and that's what's making us all groggy. If you are not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened to you. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Yeah. Ooh, she knows Kung Fu. Not some form of martial art. What the? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. These are the only people we have. I'm surprised we've got this in our court record already. I'll examine that in a second. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. What's the conversation for this? This is a paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Kazuma reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it, so used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened those doors. Okay, what about my badge? Oh yeah, they did say the badges have 6-digit serial numbers, so I'm guessing 901? Yeah, the symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like this spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although, it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on the badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind or something. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. The paper seal or the... I mean, there's literally only two things to present, so...
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Huh? Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating it here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear. I'll avenge your death. Okay. It's gonna be a big no. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say I'm stuck in this cabin, for the time being at least. I should focus on investigating in here and see what I can find out. Okay, let's examine first. Oh, you were just in the room with us the whole time? Okay, Deep had to look around. Alright, let's go from left to right. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator. If that's what it is. Oh, looks like it must be looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that the rain and spray doesn't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yeah, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Oh, this is just giving me a tutorial as to, hey, you can look left and right. I'm sure you're careful to look around using left and right on the D-pad, aren't you? What? Now let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. Why is everything in the bookcase knocked over? I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Alright, the wardrobe itself. So you just sleep in the wardrobe the entire way? It's some 2 weeks since we last set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage on your own, in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Oh, it even puts a little tick on the things to let me know that I've... Oh, cool. That's useful. This is, yes, a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes, in the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Also, there's a dude right there who's just watched us pull that. At the desk. So this is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. Looks looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Just tossed him again. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Could you read it and see if there's anything of note? Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Alright, she's not gonna let us. The case. It's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought up on board inside that case. Ah yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Sasato takedown. Right. Dead man's words. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote that message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. Is it incomplete? I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Oh, what the fuck? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he? You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Ah! Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know that? Who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk to him. Am I imagining it, or does Sasato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press X on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay, I need to give Sholmes a voice that's not going to destroy my throat. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Cool, let's just ignore him then. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Oh, and now he's just... Oh, shit. Fuck. Oh, that actually surprised me. Ah. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Ah, yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You... have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce do I know all that, perhaps? It's really the most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. What? You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake. Now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. Huh? And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. What the fuck, dude? Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name, like the crewman in the corner? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. Is he picking up on the crewman in the corner and mistaking it for me? So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Seriously? You actually believe that? You know he's Japanese, though. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came to your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yeah, maybe. Ha, there you have it, you see. What do you make of that, You got one thing right, so you're just assuming that everything you say was correct. Oh, fuck's sake. Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder, so I'm not really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more like plain observation. Indeed, and observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Huh? I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century. known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Really, why do I feel uneasy about this? Do I have to talk to him? Alright. Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, there's no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistakes. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? As in the guy who got murdered last case? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. Science? Really? An astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subjects. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And a trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Cool, what about Kazuma's death? Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case then? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in this most cunning hiding place? That's right. There was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I'm going to make that mistake a bunch of times and say Sherlock by accident. I see. In other words, I mean these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry into the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh. The very moment I laid my eyes on the scene, two factors were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two factors, you say? Ooh. Ooh. Actually updates... Ooh, fancy. Two facts. Mr. Sholmes, tell us please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes. But first, let me be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what are they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance of the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. I think you've made... what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying man's message left by the victim on the floor. I'm not even going to take an attempt at what that would... the pronunciation for that might be. Is the line on the far right, is that supposed to be another letter as well? Maybe. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. So, do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native language filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma-sama was Russian, was he? Initially I considered Garderobe may have been the name of a killer, and certainly Robert Guard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. Oh god, my throat. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Ugh, there he is. This was taken immediately after the young... No, this was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. That sucks. Yeah, it looks like he was continuing to write something else and then died before he had the chance to finish. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, the Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. Did you say he took 2 4s? Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russian before as well, didn't you? No, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary free from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining the train of reasoning to me, do you think? Whatever that is, certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Your deduction just now. Should I be looking around the rest of the room first for more stuff? We'll finish talking to him. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. The now famous... the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yeah, looks like us. I can see his reasoning. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night a young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? Are you not just going to correct him at any point during this and just say, by the way, you're completely wrong, we're Japanese? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-san wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. The one who would kill the very man who helped him escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. Bolshevik. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Wow. Wow. Holy shit, dude. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all of those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and the deeds of the... Oh my god. My mouth is just falling apart right now. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There could be no mistake. I'm going to get that name wrong constantly. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is that anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you? I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages. I see no rubbish bin nearby. Okay. Okay, so the Russian is actually going to be on board the ship somewhere, I guess. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eyes over it sometime, if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Let's take a look. Oh! Ballerina. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word of, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful Russian princess, do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. I'm glad you've noticed this article. You literally pointed it out to us. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. Pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. Oh, is that in case we're in a different scene where he's not here and we examine it and it's him just kind of showing up and surprising us? It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear that the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. Ballet. Fuck's sake. Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. Interesting. And the article about what's his face? I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. He doesn't find it weird that the person he's accusing of being a Russian revolutionary can't read Russian. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, "Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai." Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. My goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, no extra... Okay. Right, before we finish talking to you, let's keep looking around the room, because we've got more stuff to look at. Okay, can't look at the ink itself. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-san doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have something to do with the case, I wonder? Ooh, closer examination. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Okay, what is this? What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have been broken clean in two. Oh, the glass is such a beautiful colour. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener for a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has some sort of brick-like hue. Yeah, you're right. It's the colour of a brick, isn't it? Some sort of clay, maybe? Even though I don't see anything of the same colour anywhere else in the cabin. His sword. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this ship. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. That's my dinner from last night, roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? No, I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how did the plate end up on the floor? Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. The messed up table? There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after I ate dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy was always a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoroughly? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship. Ugh. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. The door itself. When I went for the help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and a thread to draw a bolt across from the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using a needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. And you couldn't use a magnet either to, like, drag the... Oh, maybe? I'm not sure. I'm sure the magnet would just stick to the door if you... Or would it affect the bolt behind it? When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles up and down my spine. And... perhaps I should see what the Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information now. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yet, of course not. Now, back to corner of the room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Okay. Oh, what is this? Warnings? These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Bruja. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Okay, was that everything else in the room? Keep looking around. I want to make sure I get everything before I finish talking to Sholmes. Yeah, I think that might be everything. Yeah, I think that might be everything. What were you just investigating? Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of his trip. Oh, wrong voice. But... I don't think you should read his private writings. It would upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you were reading it already? It's my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Sasato takedown is. Sasato-san? Aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is just so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belongs to the victim. It would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what's the nature of this writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, my dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Huh? This diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Ha 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 ha. So what was all that showing off before about, then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. And the second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma-sama's diary added to the court record. Oh, I think we've searched everything. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. I wanted to present him some of the evidence to see what reaction I get from him, but I guess I'm not going to get the chance now. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhilaration. And yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrists would reveal the answer. They're gonna keep doing that animation over and over and over. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you just say that. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. You are the culprit, and you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Fuck this dude. Now you're just being a plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Damn legally distinct detective. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? Animation again. Hi-ya! Why? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to just give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you give me any choice in the rolling over part. How many times has she flipped him now? Like 5? I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we're waiting for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. My situation doesn't look good for me. There are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Oh, hello. New sailor. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help but feel like I've seen him somewhere before. No, it's not going to be the fucking detective, is it? Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Oh, fuck it, it's him. Is he just going to show up in every single case pretending to be a different job? Yes, what can I do for you? Fuck's sake, it is him. Oh, this is going to be his gag. This is his bit. He's going to show up in every single fucking case as a different job role. Fuck's sake. I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is, it's Hokusunaga. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hokusunaga. Dude, seriously, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep spitting up blood? Why is that a thing? Explain. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be by the way. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover here as a member of the crew on board this ship. Again? Okay, what is he looking for? Is he looking for the Russian revolutionary, or is he looking for the missing ballerina? You certainly seem to be enjoying undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this helpless situation. Why the fuck are you here? Special orders. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm assuming he can't tell us. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to Asta Sasogi-san's bodyguard. Oh, shit, okay. It was Minister of Justice Jukoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. So you were expecting him to be assassinated? How? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jukoku said that we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him for the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Permission to investigate. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma-san's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. I'm so glad he's immediately on board that we're not the killer. We've actually got somebody else on our side. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes. So we need to be allowed... doing it the wrong voice. Yeah, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you moved even a touch the handle of... if you moved to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruto-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give me a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Present something. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, "What looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door's cabin. Oh, pardon me, I'm yawning. I'm not. Okay, just from a game design perspective, it's curious looking around the room at some of the things in the environment. Like the little nodules on top of the wardrobe. Like the wardrobe itself is like a 3D model, I think, but the nodules on top are clearly 2D. Same with the bell pull and the pipes on the sides. I think the candle, like the lantern on this wall, is also like a 2D object. It's interesting. Is the wardrobe 3D? Looking at the top, it might actually be 2D. Maybe, I'm not sure. Sorry, that just distracted me for a second. I just thought I had to mention it. It's interesting from a game design perspective what they can what needs to be 3D and what they can get away with being 2D, for cutting corners. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what that speckled band was. All right then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust this investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. It's the least I could do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave the cabin at last. Move. Alright. Let's see what we can find out. Move. First class passage. Alright, so there's not going to be anything in the... the corridor. Maybe. Oh. Maybe we will have something in the corridor. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Won't be too long. And I'm back. Okay. Alright, first class cabin passageway. Phew, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on his study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in the first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, big dude. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch. He looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know. But the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Okay. Let's look around. Alright, that's the room I need to go to, so let's... left to right. This I can't go any further right, so I can't see what's behind me. See if there's any more cabins or anything. Alright, big dude. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? I want to check something. Can I zoom in? No. There we go. Okay, he doesn't have marks across the face. Okay, I wondered if he could possibly be the Russian revolutionary. But no, different face. What is the deal with his face? Like, is that sunburn? Like tanning? Or is it like scarring? That's weird. Is it on his arms as well? I can't really tell. The message box is in the way. Right. No, it's not on his arms. It's just on his face then. You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm sorry for the trouble. Sorry for troubling you. But could I perhaps ask you something? You little third-class ladies' maid? Oh. We seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Sasato-san. I'm not a sailor. My mother gave me a name. I am senior crewman. Beef Stroganoff. Fuck off. Beef Stroganoff. Fuck you. Phew. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. First class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About this first class cabin area. Here we are in first class part of Brunia steamship. For very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da. Susaru-san, do you understand that? It sounded like a da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit the cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Passenger in the next door cabin. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He is very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Island. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's someone there. Well, presumably since the cabin is occupied, presumably since the gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins. He must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. Last night. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all time. No criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is that about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Hit. Susaru-san? Do you understand that? It was clearly a no. Oh, that's what... Niet, okay. Huh. Niet. Okay. Learning some Cyrillic. Yay. I saw nothing as usual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear anything... Didn't hear any strange noises, or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead's second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when lobster whistles at top of mountain, or say in English, when the peaks fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Oh, I wonder if I tried to investigate anything first, whether he, would stop me. So I had to talk to him first. Maybes. Now, what is this? That book on the top of the table there is really huge. There's a pen with it too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall I have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage is being meticulously recorded. You would expect a rough and ready sailor to have... You wouldn't expect such a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Okay. What happens if we try the door? That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No. I started it with my talk of running away. There's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Plan of the ship? Are we going to get this as a piece of evidence, maybe? This looks like a plan of the SS Bruya. It shows each deck look. Bruya is a large-scale steamship with triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many meters larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. Okay. What is this? Bell of some kind. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it's set alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect everyone else. Okay, and the mousetrap. A trap for catching mice. Yes, we've had plenty of those back home in Japan. Though they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Ah yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what it tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But... I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Who are you? I'll find a little snack for you later. Alright. Cabin door. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's the cabin. No, not our cabin. It's Kazuma's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as a wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabbage in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? Okay. I thought we were in this one, and next door was that, so... This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in the cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Knock knock. I forgot that these investigation segments are just as long as the actual courtroom sequences. I think there was like, what, 6 or 7 options on the chapter select? So, yeah, this case is going to be like 6 or 7 streams. Because I am starting to get lightheaded, so... These streams will be not my usual 3 to 4 hour streams that I usually do. These will be like half that. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there willing to help our inquiries. How annoying. Somebody screaming, not sure who. What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. Oh, it's you. Where the fuck did you come from? I'm about to break down the door. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes. I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think I should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. First class cabin, cabin number 2. Oh shit, what the fuck? Who are you? A Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. Oh yeah, I get to continue doing the stupid Russian voice. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there is nobody but me in this cabin. Are you the woman? In disguise? Are you the ballerina? All of your stuff's knocked over as well. Interesting. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you. Now. Excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that is me. And you are? I'm the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I'm the great detective among great detectives. The one who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. This man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a young lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be so bold as you to ask you to open that small travelling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Travelling inside one's trunk? Don't look at me. Oh shit, there actually is something in there. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Is there going to be a pet in there? Are you hiding a pet? Because that was against the rules, wasn't it? Leave, now. Otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbour, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. Grimsby Roylott, Grimsby Roylott. I'm trying to see if that's a pun name. Roylott, Grimsby Roylott. No. Not one that I'm recognising. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Oh, we're just barging our way into... Okay. Out of interest. Are you actually? Let's... We have this Russian newspaper here. I have the same newspaper in my cabin. Maybe they give it to all first-class passengers. Well, neither of us speak a word of Russian, so we can't read it at all. Would you mind telling us what this article is about? If you do not speak Russian, you do not need to know what it is saying. Ah, Russia must be a cold, cold place. Okay. I was just curious. Just curious. Oh, fuck are you doing? Fucking dude. You know, actually, let's ask Converse first. No, let's examine then converse. What do you think you're doing? Ah! This is my cabin. Get out. Could we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No. Ah, what a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree. But there may be somebody else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Okay, let's actually try asking Roylott some questions first then. See what happens. Last night. Mr. Roylott, we'd like to talk to you about something. No. Oh. I don't want to talk. Leave my cabin now. This is going terribly. Oh, alright. We're not getting anywhere here. I agree. There may be somebody else who can help. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Okay, let's back up. Sean, what the fuck are you doing? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh. It would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on, for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why, the truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply the great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, you ask? I ask you. What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? Wow. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right. And Mr. Sholmes? I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it's a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh. I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? I just thought, just a thought, yes. I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrivable conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment, no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you've been discovered. Does it not? Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance I can deduce all there is... In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it in countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deductions firsthand. It's like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the colour is drained from Rylott's face. It looks somehow both... It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things? You wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I do cordially invite you upon the journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. What the fuck? Okay, I wasn't expecting this. Topic 1, Old Man's Identity. Oh, this is like an actual thing, like a deduction phase. Okay, I really wasn't expecting this. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away a copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then being begged is, why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beer, Mr. Roylott? The answer once again is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have also read, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Again, not the same face. That's a very tall, thin face. Rylott's is very roundish. Small and roundish. Perhaps like that ballerina lady? In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject in the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have the propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. Proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps, once slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Let me check that lady's face again. I just want to take a look. Okay. Maybe it's not her. She's got like a fairly small nose, like regular sized nose. But his is huge. Unless it's a fake nose? Would that exist at that time? Probably not. And what, pray, could be the identity of the young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to the life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'eole betrays you. Once again, we need only follow the furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the passages of this newspaper. But there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but to one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction, and according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. I mean, that's going to be wrong, obviously. Ballerina, I still think the dude is the ballerina. And it's some sort of pet inside of the suitcase. I don't know what they're doing with the scissors, though. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. Sasado-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? What the fuck was that? It's about your deductions. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article, and I think we've had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier. At the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Well, able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Rowlett does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Oh, wrong voice. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out of the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? Such as sour bunch. It would be surely it would be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observations are, well, magical. His eyes cut into the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seems a little off. Your idea of a little might be a little off itself, Mrs. Sasato. Just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactically switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions. Oh, so this is going to be a different, like a new gameplay thing. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man has a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Oh, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Oh shit! We took them off. Where are your handcuffs? Do not flip me. Do not flip me. Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Course correction, hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Okay. Okay, so this is text that we've had before. Oh, is this going to work the same as the trial, where we... Okay, this is all stuff we've seen before. Staring at us in the face. On the verge of using shears to cut away your copious beard you sport. Huh? I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt there's something you'll ever have. I doubt that's something you'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to fit right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a key word there, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intends to use those shears on. Exactly. We do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest to your capable hands, Mr. Naruhodo-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott going to use those enormous shears for? Oh. The immediately obvious long blonde hair. So yeah, it clearly is the ballerina then. What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No. The colour is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? And how is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. It's so stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here.
Yes!
Golden locks. What the fuck? Oh, we've been getting like swifted, cool movements from Ryunosuke as well. You are on the verge of using these shears to cut away those golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush, golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one very much still in her youth. No. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. Is she Russian? Yeah, of course she is, with that name. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san, you're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. It's strictly business, not strictly... Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't quite fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole was taken in a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we know them now. For some reason, this woman needed to try and hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes!
I mean, yeah, obviously. The evidence that reveals your true identity is that, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right. Oh, that's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. And it would appear that we're finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of Novovich's ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! Oh, that could have landed way worse. Dang. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Okay, yeah, so that entirely falls apart. She can't kidnap herself. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, the people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. I assure you, this is repeating dialogue we've seen. Okay, proof of your crimes. This woman is a ballerina. She's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime that the young woman is apparently committing? Theft. Ah, you can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Just rotate the camera ever so slightly and find the tiara.
Yes!
Tiara! Oh, pardon me. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by the dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how you say, an Earl of Prussia? It belongs to me. girl is only 15 years old. She runs away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point in hiding it now. Come, come. Let's not be so hasty. What? There remains one more unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? The contents of the case. You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me. We're not so well suited for a life of crime, are we? You're careless. Yeah, I've read this again. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with this deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting to the logic of the changing circumstance, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into this? It's a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that... It doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young lady doesn't want to open her case would have been written on a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open the case. It must be somewhere in the same area. That's where her gaze is involuntarily drawn. I agree. It's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside the case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. That's the fucking warning. No pets. The rules of passage. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours, something forbidden from the carriage. It's forbidden from carriage on this vessel. He's gonna think it's a weapon. He's gonna fucking think it's a weapon, I know he is. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time. No weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Okay, we're cutting that off before he has a chance to suggest it. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed forbidden on the vessel's rules of passage a pet? Possession of a prohibited animal. Deduction complete. Elementary. Trophy? Oh, I was expecting a PlayStation trophy to pop up for that. Oh. Oh, there's even a thing on the bowl on the floor for it to drink out of. So clearly, you aren't who you say you are. No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said is correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The The Brie is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? Well, no, she's a guest in the cabin, so... In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links to your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who is it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? A veritable tinkering of a bell. Why, none other than the young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away from Shanghai. I was sure that they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard, and then just before you came in here, I saw the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside of your traveling case? You are right. My dear friend is inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If Captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you, but in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, all right. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes... Wasn't it great? Mr. Sholmes... wasn't it something? Mr. Holmes' great deduction. It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. Oh, pardon me. I don't know why I keep yawning. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. And the back. Ah, your hands. Are cuffed again. What? How? True to my word, I've restored your shackles. When and why? There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it, really? Anyway. Let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Oh boy. This is going on so much longer than I was expecting. Oh. Can we actually see what's in the case? Let me see. Don't touch that. Huh? I will tell you what you want to know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say, forbid it? Oh, sorry. Well, as you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around in a young lady's private belongings. Neither shall I allow it. Gah, hypocrite. What's the deal with... Oh, we already... Okay. Has the tick next to it, so it's... Okay. And the ball on the floor. Oh, has it just ticked everything? Oh, it has. Okay. So we just talk to her then. What happened last night? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmates told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was about what I had done, and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. Runaway friend? Running away. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet? Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have a striking tiara as... When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. No, she's gonna sell it for the money. The tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I'd stayed, it would have killed me. Oh, it's like a slavery situation, basically. Like a... You're not technically a slave here, but if you leave, you have nothing type situation. So you have to stay. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes. And the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board. They said I could hide in this cabin. Oh! So the crew's looking out for you. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates the most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum? I'm not sure, but... Conundrum. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Booyah stopped by no port last night. Oh. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you came to be aboard? Now that I think about it, The crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. Right, yeah. That is not your business. Yeah, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what's that? It's how the Russian newspapers describe me in one of my performances. And that is how I came to be here too. I had descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, the description is very vivid. Wait, are we speaking English now? Yeah, I guess we must be. But Ryunosuke wasn't very good at English, so I guess he got very good at it in like the couple of weeks since the end of the last case. Oh, that's weird. I know they said in the last case that he could speak like a little bit of English, but not very much. And now he's just speaking it frequently, because... yeah. Oh, that's weird. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Shoei. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Right, and your friend? So the friend you mentioned is inside your travelling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed to on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell me. Don't tell... Oh, oops. Oh, please, don't tell. Don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious, then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ah. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. What sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? It's gonna be a snake. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You credit Russia as the land of small rabbits, do you? Oh. They don't have small rabbits there, then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of a young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it satisfies the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. Nahaha. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. His diary. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads... 1:23 AM, I can hear faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilation grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. Strange, isn't it? The ventilator mentions joins to your to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled bang the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything. Oh. Oh boy. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes, what is it? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak to you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave, now. Oh no, it's fine, don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Miss Roylott. Mr. Roylott. Get out. Passenger said out. Or do you want me to throw you out? Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. To be continued. Whoa, okay. I wonder how we're going to get to like a courtroom situation with this then. Whether there's going to be like a courtroom on board. Alright, let's get to the menu. Alright, we're going to wrap up here for today because my throat is killing me and I'm absolutely starving. I need to eat, I need food. But yeah, that went on longer than I was expecting. Almost 3 hours just investigating, and we're not done investigating everything yet. Okay. Damn. Let's take a look. Select adventure. I want to take a look at something. So the Great Departure was 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 parts. Okay. Also 6 parts, so it's going to be about as long. Okay. When I saw it had 6 parts, I thought it was going to be longer. That one's got 7. Oh, that one's going to be long. Jesus. What? 17? It's insane. Okay. I think those last 2 cases I might have to do is like their own separate sets of streams. Like have a play another game in between those 2 cases just because damn. We'll see. We'll see. What about... Let's have a look. That's the first case. It's 10 chapters. 20 chapters? What the fuck? 23? 16? And the final one? 13. Why is that one so much shorter? Okay, damn. Okay, these cases are longer than I was expecting. So where are we in this now? So the Dance of Deduction is where we were. That's what we've done. So I think we're at further investigation. then a second dance of deduction, and then conclusion. So we're probably not going to get like an actual trial here. Opening, pre-trial, trial, recess, conclusion. Oh, interesting. So it's not always going to be... So investigation, deduction, trial, conclusion. Huh. So not every case is going to end in a trial then. It should... Interesting. That's very interesting. Cool. Well, continuing to enjoy this game. It's still super cool. It's murder on my throat. Absolute murder. I'm glad I didn't do any like gravelly voices this time, because that would have absolutely murdered me. But yeah, case is cool. Sherlock seems like a fucking idiot. But that's fine. That's the quirk of his character. It's quite fun. But yeah, we will pick this up next time. Given the chapter count on this, we'll probably finish up the trial. Well, I keep calling it a trial, but it's an episode, isn't it? Yeah. We'll probably do the second half of this next time. And then that'll be wrap up for it. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers. Bye.